You just checked your smartwatch and it says your resting heart rate is 72 beats per minute, sitting comfortably in the normal range. Your doctor called it normal, but never explained what that number actually means or why it used to be 65 6 months ago. Today, I'll explain what your resting heart rate reveals about your metabolic health, like you're 5 years old. By the end, you'll understand whether that creeping number is genetics or your body waving a red flag. Here's what's actually happening inside your chest right now. Your resting heart rate isn't just counting beats, it's measuring efficiency. Think of it like checking how hard your engine works when the car is parked in the driveway. A heart rate of 50 to 60 means your heart pumps more blood per beat, doing less work to keep you alive. That's why elite athletes sit in this range. Their hearts do more with less, like a hybrid car getting 50 miles per gallon. But if your resting heart rate hangs at 80 or 85, even though it's technically within the normal range, your heart works overtime. Your heart is working harder than it should just to maintain idle. Something's making this happen, and nobody's asking why. You could have two people sitting on the same couch, same age, same weight, but one has a resting heart rate of 60 and the other sits at 82. They're both considered normal, but their bodies are functioning in completely different states of efficiency. Now here's the part that should have been explained years ago. Studies show that even within the normal range, every 10-beat increase in resting heart rate correlates with a 20% higher risk of early death. Not because the number itself is dangerous. It's what the number represents. Think of your resting heart rate like your check engine light, except it shows exactly how stressed your engine is before breaking down. A heart rate climbing from 65 to 75 over 6 months isn't just bad luck or aging. It's your body telling you something changed, and not for the better. Maybe you're sleeping worse because work stress has you checking emails at midnight. Maybe your blood sugar's riding a roller coaster because breakfast is now a muffin from Starbucks. Maybe low-grade inflammation is simmering in the background, like a pot you forgot on the stove. Each of these problems alone might seem manageable, but your heart is tracking the cumulative damage and reporting it back through that climbing number. So what actually drives that number up? And why does it matter? When one system in your body starts failing, the heart picks up the slack. Chronic stress floods your system with cortisol, keeping your heart rate elevated, like you're constantly preparing to run from danger. Poor sleep means your body never fully recovers, so your heart stays semi-alert even when you're watching Netflix at 2 a.m. Insulin resistance. What happens when you eat too much sugar and processed junk makes your heart work harder to manage blood sugar chaos. The heart just keeps going, but it's definitely not thriving. It's compensating for problems elsewhere in your body, problems you might not even know exist yet. Your thyroid could be underperforming, your gut could be inflamed from food sensitivities, or your adrenal glands could be exhausted from months of pushing through fatigue with caffeine. All of these force your cardiovascular system to work overtime. Here's where it gets wild, and your body starts revealing the truth. Your resting heart rate responds faster than almost any other health metric you can track. Lose 5 pounds, and your scale might celebrate, but your actual health hasn't necessarily changed. You could have just lost water weight from skipping alcohol last weekend. But drop your resting heart rate by 5 beats over a month? That's your body confirming real recovery is happening. Your cardiovascular system is getting more efficient. Your stress response is calming down, and your sleep quality is improving. It's like watching your credit score go up because you actually paid off debt, not because you wished it would. The number doesn't lie, and it responds to what you're actually doing, not what you're pretending to do. This matters to you because we've been trained to think normal means optimal. Your doctor checks your resting heart rate, sees it's 78, shrugs, and moves on, because it's technically within range. But normal just means you're average, and average in America right now includes chronic stress, terrible sleep, and metabolic dysfunction. It's like saying your relationship is fine because you're not actively fighting, even though you haven't had a real conversation in months. Fine isn't good, and fine is just not disaster yet. Your body deserves better than fine, and your resting heart rate tells you the truth before things fall apart. The medical system waits until you're sick enough to need medication, but your resting heart rate gives you years of warning if you're paying attention. But here's what nobody explains about patterns over time. A single resting heart rate reading is just a snapshot. Useful, but incomplete. The real story shows up when you track it weekly and notice trends. If your resting heart rate creeps up by 1 or 2 beats per month, that's not noise, that's a signal. Maybe you started a high-intensity workout program without enough recovery days, so your body's stuck in chronic stress. Maybe work got busier and you're staying up later, cutting sleep from 7 hours to 5. Maybe you've been eating out more often and your body's dealing with inflammation from seed oils and added sugars. Your heart rate is the canary in the coal mine, except it just ticks up a few beats and waits for you to notice. Now check this out. Tracking this doesn't require expensive labs or doctor visits. Your smartwatch is already doing it, probably while you ignore the data completely. But if you start paying attention, you'll notice patterns. Your resting heart rate might spike after a night of terrible sleep. It might drop after a relaxing weekend with proper rest. It might stay elevated during stressful work weeks, when your boss sends messages that somehow feel louder than actual yelling. It's real-time feedback on how your body's handling life. And most people treat it like junk mail. You're getting personalized health data delivered every single morning, and it costs you nothing except 5 seconds of attention. So here's what you actually do with this information. First, start tracking your resting heart rate every morning, right when you wake up before checking your phone. If your number sits above 70 and you're not naturally anxious, focus on sleep quality first. Get blackout curtains, avoid screens an hour before bed, and keep consistent wake times even on weekends. Second, clean up your diet by cutting back on sugar and processed foods that spike insulin and trigger inflammation. Third, add low-intensity movement, walking, easy cycling, yoga. Stuff that doesn't crush your body, but keeps it moving. Your resting heart rate will respond within weeks, sometimes days. When it drops, you'll know your body is genuinely recovering instead of just treading water. You might notice you have more energy throughout the day, wake up feeling more refreshed, and handle stress without feeling completely overwhelmed. Here's something most people don't realize about recovery. Your heart rate variability, the variation in time between heartbeats, works alongside your resting heart rate to show recovery status. Higher variability means your nervous system can shift smoothly between stress and rest. Lower variability means you're stuck in fight or flight mode even when nothing's actually threatening you. If your resting heart rate is climbing while your heart rate variability is dropping, you're heading toward burnout. Your body is losing its ability to adapt and recover. This combination shows up weeks or months before you feel truly exhausted, giving you time to course correct before crashing. It's like watching both your fuel gauge and engine temperature instead of just hoping you make it to the next gas station. Another thing worth tracking is how your heart rate responds to standing up. Normally, your heart rate increases by 10 to 15 beats when you go from lying down to standing. If it jumps by 30 or more beats and stays elevated, that's called postural orthostatic tachycardia. That often signals dehydration, poor cardiovascular fitness, or chronic stress wearing you down. Your body struggles to maintain blood pressure when changing position, so your heart compensates by beating faster. This isn't just trivia, it's actionable information. Drink more water, add electrolytes, and improve your aerobic base with consistent, low-intensity cardio. Within weeks, that exaggerated response should calm down, and you'll feel less dizzy or lightheaded when standing quickly. To recap, your resting heart rate isn't just a number your doctor glances at and forgets. Where you fall in the normal range matters. Higher numbers mean your heart works harder at rest. Every 10-beat increase correlates with 20% higher risk of early death, even if you're technically normal. Patterns over time reveal what's actually happening. Creeping up means something's wrong. Dropping down means you're recovering. Unlike most health metrics, your resting heart rate responds fast when you fix root problems, giving you real-time feedback. So here's the real question. Are you going to keep ignoring your resting heart rate like it's random trivia? Or are you finally going to use it as the early warning system it is? Drop a comment and tell me what your current resting heart rate is, and whether you've noticed it changing over the past few months.